Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic week. Well, norovirus, how big a problem is it on a cruise ship? We've had a couple incidences already this year. One was recently on a luxury cruise line. Some passengers came down and that cruise ship had only been in service. It was newly launched only a month and passengers came down with a norovirus. Of course, the Oasis of the Sea had 475 passengers come down sick. They ended up refunding everybody their money on the cruise. But how really big problem is norovirus? Because the cruise industry regulates things quite often, we hear about it more and the cruise industry will report on it more. So if you're into cruising, you will hear about norovirus far more than you'll hear about norovirus in Disney or norovirus at a hotel or any, in a school. It just comes up more. If a norovirus hits your local elementary school, you might hear it on the local news, but CNN is not going to report on it like they reported when the Oasis of the Seas had norovirus on it. So you may come under the false assumption that norovirus is widespread on a cruise ship. Well, in all facts, last year, there were 9 reported incidences of norovirus on cruise ships, and only 2 were from the same cruise line and none were from the same ship. So it didn't really matter whether you think you're going on a cheaper cruise or a luxury cruise. It was everything from Cunard to Silver Seas to Princess to Royal Caribbean. Everybody got struck on one of their ships. A total of 547 cases of norovirus for 2018 were reported. Now the reporting is 3% of your passengers on a cruise ship is when you have to report it officially. So if 2 or 3 people come down with norovirus, they're not going to report it because it's not an outbreak. So that's where it stands. And if you do, that figure of 574 out of how many cruise passengers cruised last year, which was 28.5 million passengers, that means you have a 1 in 52,102 chance of catching a norovirus on a cruise ship. I kind of like those odds. That's not huge odds. Did you know the hotel industry has 20 times more norovirus outbreaks than cruise ships? In fact, just a few weeks ago, Vancouver airport hotels had norovirus in them, and I'm heading there in a week. So is it prevalent? Do you have to watch out for it? Yes. Here's an example. On our group cruise on Royal Caribbean, we had a norovirus outbreak. Something like 18 people altogether. A few people were quarantined into their cabins. They took immediate action on the Regal Princess. So we were out to theater and a captain came on and announced that they're norovirus and they were taking precautions and asked everybody to wash their hands whenever they're going to dining and back into their staterooms. The people started obviously doing that once you hear norovirus is on the ship. And then they stationed people in the buffet areas and in the dining areas and were telling them to go and wash their hands. They weren't just suggesting it anymore. They were pushing people to go wash your hands. And it was contained. A couple days later, it was lifted. There was no more further outbreaks. It never spread past those people on the cruise ship. And so it doesn't get reported. It's just a few people, it's kind of like coming down with seasickness a little bit. A few people get seasick so bad on cruise ships that they can't leave their stateroom because they're so ill. It's just like that. But cruise ships, this is why it's important. If you do feel like you're coming down with a stomach virus or something, let the medical staff know so they can contain it and it doesn't spread through the entire ship. Had the person on the Oasis ship who had the norovirus and knew they were sick, let the medical staff know, that probably wouldn't have escalated to the whole cruise ship of 400 and some people and the whole cruise ship having to turn around and head back and losing their cruise. It's very important to let people know. You might spend an extra day in your cabin, but it's, you're going to probably be there anyway. So let the staff know. Don't let it spread. Think about other people. It sucks to have it come down to you. It sucks to be stuck in your stateroom on a cruise, in a port destination especially. But, we have to have some consideration for our fellow passengers, and that will greatly reduce any spreads in the future. So washing your hands and letting people know if you're feeling ill right away is the best possible way to contain norovirus on a cruise ship, period. Well, I hope you liked this update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel blogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.